I think the general consensus is that this was an inside job. There's been a lot of people. I did not say this from the very beginning because I wanted to just see what things unfold, do a little bit of digging, and just the things that I have seen is just today, Secret Service stated in the hearing that they're trying to act like they didn't have but 30 seconds to respond. They didn't know there was a man on the roof with a gun for 30 seconds. And we all know that they received, we already know about the confirmation that was released by Senator Johnson, who asked specific questions, and specific answers were given in the preliminary official report, and it was in fact stated that it was confirmed. They did have it was confirmed that Secret Service 9 minutes before received information that there was this threat. Okay, and so even if it was just 30 seconds, that's enough amount of time to get Trump off the stage. But regardless, now they said this was July 17th. The Secret Service spotted the shooter on the roof 20 minutes before the gunfire erupted. And then it was released that they knew for 9 minutes. And now, just today, it was reduced to 30 seconds. Regardless. We've seen videos of where Trump's been removed off the stage before, and within seconds of anybody in the crowd acting, hostile, they immediately move him off the stage. And it takes seconds to get him off the stage. They grab him and they move him off. That's happened a couple times, right? And then there was an attempt back in 2016 where a guy grabs a cop's gun. But the point is, here's the point. There was a cop. There was a sniper gun. It was inside the bottom window, the very window that I pointed out. There was engagement of a rifle that had a flashlight attached to it. And in fact, I was correct. It was released by News Nation that, in fact, there was a setup. Now, here's the problem with that setup. They're pointing a gun in the direction of the former president and the crowd. That's not their perimeter nor their jurisdiction. It wasn't Secret Service on the other side of that fence that was setting up. They said that was not their perimeter. It wasn't Secret Service sniper inside that building. It was police. So look at this. So I shared in another video, I went into specifics showing that this window that I pointed out in my video yesterday, that I slowed it down and freeze framed, that there was rifle with a flashlight scope attached. I showed the different types of attachments that can be secured onto rifles like this. And in fact, I was correct. This was released several hours later. I distributed in various places that I believe that there was a rifle in this particular window. I'll show you the video. Now, I did label my video second Trump shooter evidence. I do believe that this was the possibility of a second shooter. Just because in the video that I shared, this is the flashlight. Okay, so there was, what I just showed you was the person with a rifle and a flashlight attachment. And I showed specifically where this window is almost directly underneath where the shooter was. He was, in fact, on the other part of that seam that goes across the roof, and like maybe it was almost in the direct line, very close to it. So I'm going to show you that. Okay, so this is on this side of the slope. This is where the shooter was. He's pointing right there. So on this side of the building, see these pipes right here? Right here is about where the window is that the sniper was engaging his scope. Had the window open and a gun facing the former president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and the crowd. Why is any officer having a gun aimed in this direction? This is not his perimeter. This is not his perimeter. Okay, we have officers here that are, this is their perimeter. You had a bunch of military, you had all these people, anybody who in this area rises up and acts like a threat to the asset protectee they would rise up and eliminate that threat. They would rise up and deal with it. So to have an officer facing that way, instead of being up on top of this roof, okay, this officer was the one facing had a gun set up facing there. You had all these guys with guns around here. There's no reason for an officer to be down here in this window facing a gun at the president. That's not even appropriate, okay? Now, the video by Dave Stewart, he was the one that presented the video, and he hid behind this tree over here, okay, when the shooting started, and there was a lot of movement, but I freeze framed his video. His video's like all over the internet. He released it just a couple days ago, and I freeze framed it, and I saw that there was flashlight movement. There was an engaged rifle in this window, and there was movement with the window, like it was being covered at some points, and some points it wasn't being covered. I shared that in the video, and I said it looks to me that there's a sniper or a shooter. Somebody was there in that window with a gun, but it remains to be seen why the police, this fence over here, this is their perimeter, okay? So they're supposed to be looking out for any threats coming in this area, okay? They're not assigned to point a gun at the President of the United States, former President of the United States, presidential candidate, and the crowd. That's not their job, okay? Because if there's any threats in here, these guys, this is their perimeter. This is their perimeter. Secret Service made it very clear that they have their assigned elite forces who handle any threats within this perimeter. That's their job. So this cop on this side of the fence is not supposed to be pointing a gun at the former president and the crowd. So let's look at that. This is the rifle pointing out the window, and you can see here. Here's the fence. So you can see this fence here. Here's that tree. This is the window. I believe that this is the window that was like where the light was coming from, and he's got a light scope on his rifle. So this is what I showed when I slowed it down multiple times, and then you can hear the gunfire. So while gunfire was happening, there was engagement with this rifle right here, and then when I freeze framed it, you could see that there was, it was like blurred and slanted in that direction because there was engagement with that rifle for whatever he was doing. Why is a police non-Secret Service sniper positioned in this window with a gun aiming in the exact same direction as the shooter Crooks on top of the roof, which was almost directly above him? He was like right above here. Why was he doing that? It is not his job to point a gun at the crowd and the former president. See, this is the window. Sometimes it was covered, and then other times it was black from the inside. You couldn't see inside, but you can see that lighted scope engaging. See these pipes here? So see this pipe right here? So this window's like right here, and it was perfectly aimed right at former President Trump and the crowd. Okay? See all this over here? See where these buildings are? Where the sniper was at? This is that fence that had been secured, and they were struggling to get over here, and this guy was like over here. He was like over here, hid behind this tree, and then that's what I'm getting ready to show you. Now look, you're going to see engagement from that window where I'm showing you where that sniper is set up. You're going to see it. Look at the window. Now see, this is happening while the shooting is going on. Look what happens right there. That's what I'm talking about. Now, did you just see that? So there's a slight lifting. Now look. It's not the firing that's happening. See that?
That's when
now
that
watch.
light starts like looking.
That window.
So just pay attention
Now
to
watch.
that window.
See that? You see that?
You see it?
Boom. That's why the shooting is happening, people. Why is he aiming his gun in the direction of the president? What was just revealed today in the hearing was that there was, in my opinion, it was a threat. There was a lawsuit where they said that they were not going to, the federal agencies. There was literally a settlement of millions against federal agencies that they were not going to allow Trump to become president. They said they would stop it. And the FBI, they questioned them, like, did the FBI sign off on that settlement? There was literally a threat from the federal agencies that they didn't say like, oh, we'll take him out, we won't let him become president, but they did say, we will stop it. So those comments, there was lawsuits over that. People don't know about that, right? So here you have somebody who's not in the perimeter to cover anything going on in that area, setting up a rifle, pointing it in the direction of the former president, and that rifle is engaging. That rifle is engaging. Watch. See that? That rifle is engaging. See that pipe?
This is freeze frame, so it's why it's a little
that
blurry.
rifle is engaging, and he doesn't have jurisdiction to be firing into the crowd or in the direction of the former president of the United States of America. Nobody in this perimeter area has jurisdiction to be handling anything on this side of the fence. They're supposed to be taking out, eliminating any threats from in here. They should be on the roof dealing with the shooter up there. Instead, they're pointing in the same direction the shooter is pointing. And right there, this person in here is engaging. So I do have suspicions that it was an inside job based on the fact that they're making claims totally inconsistent with things already revealed. They're trying to narrow down the amount of time they had to get President Trump off of that stage because they know that that is criminally. And here's the problem that I have is these legislators, they're the ones that dictate and pass the law on what the Secret Service powers have, and they should be passing a law that it is mandated. One, you can never not answer a question to any legislators in an instance like this, and two, the president doesn't get to decide who gets to be covered. It should be mandated by law who is covered. This is ridiculous, right? So they're taking away coverage of certain people, and I mean, literally, this government is weaponized. And I'm sorry, but they lied. They should have had this man off of the stage. And this person down here should be up here. And they're like, well, we don't know why they run on top of the roof. And then you have your local DA, who is a Democrat, and anybody lying and saying that the DA literally lied and tried to say that DA was a Republican. I'm like, okay, well, I looked it up. Not only was he a Democrat, he also had tried for judgeship in 2021 and did not get it. He was definitely a Democrat, definitely defending these cops who did not go over there and make sure that was like, hey, excuse me. They all knew this guy was up there. You have witnesses that were there, and they're like, no, man, we told them for several minutes, and these guys were over here with their binoculars looking over here. We're pointing up there. They were looking right at us, and they were told. We have the confirmation that they did, in fact, receive notice that there was a threat within 9 minutes. There's no excuse. The bottom line is this was deliberate. It was willful, and they're lying. Then you have this guy who testified today, and they're like, okay, well, we understand that we have to answer questions. We generally don't answer questions on anything that was under investigation. And then you have these creepy people who's on YouTube claiming they're in communications with Secret Service. Well, let me tell you what, that person should be investigated and should be answering to our legislators, because nobody from Secret Service has any authority to be communicating to YouTuber. I did a video on that, because whistleblowers can report to legislators. They're protected under statutes that they are allowed to report anonymously, and you have whistleblowers who are complaining, and so they're reporting to the legislators, and then the legislators discuss it, and that's how it gets to the news. Secret Service agents have no authority to go to the media or to go to YouTubers. Their job, if they're protected under whistleblower statutes, is they report things to the legislators, and they have. And so these legislators confronted the Secret Service acting director today and questioned him, like, excuse us, why are you this is what this whistleblower is saying, and confronted him about all the things the whistleblower was saying. There's a Secret Service agent that wants supervisors to be fired, right? And so, but those whistleblowers are only authorized to speak to certain people, okay? And so that's how those things get leaked. It's done formally and under specific authorization. So anybody on YouTube claiming they're in communications with Secret Service, and that's a bunch of nonsense. They're just doing for clicks and views, and, you know, come to my channel. I'm in communication with Secret Service, and I can tell you things being said. I mean, just, you know, come on now. They're just doing it for money, right? And by the way, I'm not a monetized channel, right? I'm just a little hobby, little tiny YouTube channel. I will speak my mind, right? And I'm telling you right now, this person who's in this window with his rifle engaging towards this crowd, that was inappropriate, and it was not authorized, and I believe it was criminal, and I think there needs to be an investigation. And I'm personally going to send this video to the legislator, and I'm going to make sure that it gets received, and then I'm going to also send a copy of the video of that guy claiming that somebody from Secret Service is giving that YouTuber details, and yet they won't answer questions to these legislators at these hearings, okay? Because, like, that's just nonsense. That shouldn't even be allowed on YouTube for somebody to be claiming they're in communications with Secret Service. And, I mean, that's fraud, right? That's clickbait. That should not even be allowed. And I'm so sick and tired of YouTube allowing these people to just give, you know, get clicks and views, and YouTube gets rich off of these YouTubes and these fake channels and doing these fake things and scammy things, and it's just wrong, okay? Because this man died. You have somebody who died, and other people were seriously injured, and I want to know why this person was in this window. As it was revealed, I was correct. There was a rifle in that window, and it had a flashlight scope on it, and it was engaging. And I want to know why they were setting up in that window, pointing that crowd. Anybody doing anything in here, you had military grade, you had all kinds of tactical forces there, that anybody inside here that's doing anything that's threatening, they handle it. You see this fence right here? Their perimeter, not their perimeter. Their perimeter, not their perimeter. Their perimeter is to take care of any threats within here. Not point a gun to take out threats from there. This person who was in this window had no jurisdiction and no authority to be pointing a gun at the former president of the United States of America. No, he didn't. And that DA is criminal for lying and protecting his cops and saying, like, he's not going to hold them accountable. I'm sorry. You guys knew there was a threat, and the local police, did not warn that crowd. Local police, their job is not the president. They work with these people, and that wasn't even appropriate, right? They're not elite trained. They're not, you know what I'm saying? They have all these people in here. That's Secret Service job. These people do have a duty to their community, and those people that was in that crowd was this community. And so the DA, not acting like the cops did anything wrong, I think people should be going after him. I think they should be, like, suing the county. They should be going after that DA, and for him to lie and act like they didn't do anything wrong. When they knew that shooter was on that roof for plenty of time, they should have warned that crowd, evacuate, evacuate, evacuate. People died because of what they did. And this DA is crooked. And to me, he's the one that was over those, and he knew that they should have been on this roof, and they weren't, okay? And why is one of the local Butler County people pointing a gun in the direction of the former president of the United States? When you look at this gun, look at this gun. That is pointing directly in the direction of the crowd. That's not his jurisdiction. Now, he could say, well, we were just going to shoot anybody that goes up to the fence or something like that, you know, like pointing anybody out here. But you had the owner. Here's the thing about this, too. These people out here technically shouldn't even been out there, because the owner in this video that Dave Stewart put out the other day, he said, yeah, that owner's raging. He's raging. He's raging. He was out there running off all these people. He said that they were not allowed to be there. This is a fence. This is private property. It's owned by the company. And he was out there trying to run them all off. So why, if these people were not allowed there and they're considered trespassers according to the owner out there raging at them, why were they there? Why did these people, these police, allow any of these people to even be out here? They were literally trespassing. They weren't allowed to be there. The owner, if you see the video that Dave Stewart put out, that owner comes out there and he was mad and he was raging. Like, well, that's what he said. He was out there wanting all of them to leave that was on this side of the fence. They had no authority to be there. So why does these officers, why were they allowing these people to cause more security issues during the time where they're supposed to be focusing on protecting, and they're not allowed to be there? The owner did not want them there. So why weren't they making these people leave, right? But thank God that somebody was there and had a camera, because I feel like Dave's video was more valuable than anybody's video that was shown, right? Because you would have, if he wasn't there with that video, you would not have caught. We would not have known about this guy right here pointing a gun in the direction of the President of the United States, or former President of the United States, presidential candidate Donald J. Trump, and the crowd, with no jurisdiction whatsoever to be pointing a gun in that direction. Okay, and he shouldn't even have people here. So if they're trying to use the excuse, oh well, you know, we're just like looking for threats right here, I'm like, okay, well, none of these people are even supposed to be here. So if they're not supposed to be here, why are you allowing them to be there? So there's no excuse for him to be pointing a gun in that direction. He certainly doesn't have any authority to be engaging while somebody is shooting his weapon. I want to know why the person in the window was engaging his weapon in the direction of former President Donald J. Trump. I don't care if he was just using his flashlight scope. Why was he engaging at the exact moment when the shooting was going on? And you look at that video, go to Dave. I'm going to put the link to Dave's channel. You watch his videos. And by the way, Pennsylvania State Trooper arrested him afterwards. Why? For filming. Guess what? The feds took his phone. No, Pennsylvania State Trooper took his phone. The feds, the FBI, took the phone from him. Why is Pennsylvania State Trooper taking this man's phone? And that's not their jurisdiction. That's federal jurisdiction. So the feds took that phone and then gave it back to Dave. No telling, they probably would have made that video disappear. I don't know why, or I don't know the details of why he was arrested. But for filming. I'm just like, he was on private property. Technically, the owner didn't want him there, and he made it known. But I'm just like, thank God he was. Because I want to know why. Why? I mean, I'm telling you, at the exact moment, in the exact seconds, that guy upstairs was shooting, this gun right here was engaging. And I want to know why. And I think America has a right to know why. Why?